I guess I have to be the one to tell you this. All that time you're spending with your friends and family now, all of a sudden, right? Since you just got done going through that real painful breakup, all the hours you're putting back into the gym now, right? You're going to get that snatched body, or you're going to, be in a better shape you've never been before, right? All the overtime you're putting in at work, right? Digging in deep, all the things you're doing that feels like you're getting back on your game, getting back to who you used to be or being a better version of yourself. All the stuff you're doing, right, is a distraction. One big distraction. You are not healing at all. Well, let me not say at all, but you're doing a real poor job at it. Distractions disguised as self-care will never help you get over your ex. Big surprise, right? It just does not work. So all the videos you may see out there, if people are still, making them, I haven't really been checking, but I've seen them a number of times across the years where, it's the, hey, to move on or be better or get back to where you once were, or to get past that person that hurt you so bad, or, you being crushed, get out, start living life again, start doing stuff and start doing the things. And let me be very clear here. Yes, I've even said to go lean on your support system. Go find the people that care about you and nurture yourself, and let them help nurture you, right? Or go ahead and focus on the things that brings you joy, or work on your goals and so forth, right? Where maybe the gym comes in or stuff like that, or working on something you're building, or a business or whatever. Or maybe even put more time into your work at, your career, things that actually build your life. Absolutely, I've said that. But people take it out of context sometimes. Those things are absolutely great things to do, and they are reflections of self-care. But they very easily become your biggest kryptonite, right? Your biggest downfall whenever you use those to replace the time you should be offering yourself to just nurture your wounds, to let your emotions breathe, to process, to reflect, to dissect things that happen, and find clarity, come to conclusions, to deal with the sensations that are your emotions, your body's signal system to you, to learn how to regulate what you're going through and what you're feeling. Instead of every time those real tough feelings come up, you run off to go do something else. You're not healing, you're running, you're avoiding. And all that does is leads to baggage and deeper pain later. It is the way people wind up being triggered when the right combination of events happens with someone new in your life, right? Random moment to where you're reacting really intensely or really defensively, really guarded, really distanced, whatever it is that the other person's confused by, that their actions to your response doesn't match. It's not really appropriate. Why? Because during this season right now, while you're going through the thick of that pain, and while you're going through that hurt day in and day out, and it's just like you can't get your ex off your mind, and what happened, and why they did what they did, and it can't believe it ended. They're supposed to be your forever person. All the things, right? Whatever it was that brought that whole mountain tumbling down, you are investing and pouring yourself into all this time in the gym. That way, when you're in the gym, you're focused on lifting that weight or running that mile, and you're locking in, and it takes your mind off of the situation, right? Or you're spending all this time around your friends and family to where they're literally like your lifeline support. They are all of the nurture that you're having for yourself. And they're replacing you spending time nurturing yourself on your own. So without them around, without someone around, you're feeling uneasy, you're feeling that anxiety. Starting to feel that fear setting in, because now those uncomfortable feelings are going to start stirring up that you can't get away from, right? Or you're just locking your mind in on whatever you're building in a business or at your career, at your job or whatever. And the more you work, the more you have to focus on something else that's right in front of your eyes, the more it keeps your mind off of what's going on inside of you. It's extremely unhealthy. And all you're doing is maintaining a wound, right? You're still bleeding out. It's still there, but you're not focusing on the bleeding, and you're, turning your focus away from the pain to where it's not going anywhere. Yes, over time, look, your mind and your body, its job is to try to help you survive, to make sure you don't, pass away or whatever. So it's going to do its best job that it can without your help to subside some of that pain as time goes by, right? The whole time heals all wounds analogy, right? Which is one of the worst lies someone can tell you, right? Because that's not the truth. The truth is time heals all wounds with the proper action steps to heal those wounds effectively in a way that's healthy for you, right? Otherwise, yes, the initial sting or the strength of that pain dies down some, but it doesn't just go away. All energy is expressed in some way, right? Just changes form. It doesn't disappear. So if you haven't dealt with the pain, it hasn't gone anywhere. That energy hasn't gone anywhere. You haven't properly released it. It's just got into a dormant space inside of you until the right triggering events that your subconscious, that never forgets all this stuff, identifies is really similar or looks exactly like what you experienced before that was really painful from this breakup you may be going through, right? And it says, oh no, we can't let you go through that again. So we got to get you defensive, protect yourself, or do something. And next thing you know, now you're operating in a way that you don't even identify with. And potentially with someone new that could be great for you, but now their alarm, red flag, they're getting from you because you're acting in a way that doesn't show that someone is healed, healthy, and whole, even though you may have come off that way because of all the hours you spent in that gym, right? Getting that amazing body and getting back on your game, getting your energy right. That's what you're thinking you're doing, right? What you were probably doing physically, right? Or, because you started building your relationships even stronger with your friends and your family because you leaned on them more to get through this time period, right? And therefore, the byproduct of that is you did get more attached and you guys blossom more together as relationship of people, right? Of brother, sister, mother, father, or whatever the case is, son, daughter, whatever your dynamic is, or best friend or what have you. Or even you start achieving accolades, right? You're excelling at your business and at your job because you're putting so much intentional time and effort into running away from your pain that, of course, you put all this effort into these other areas, they're going to build and they're going to flourish in some ways to where you start thinking, I'm awesome now. I'm great. I'm so healed. I'm so moved on because it's been maybe 3, 4, 5 months, 6 months, who knows, a year, maybe a year and a half. And when you think about your ex now, the initial thought isn't pain anymore, right? You're not so triggered anymore. But all it takes is that one moment that brings it all tumbling down till you realize you spent all of this time where, yes, you were doing some self-care activities, but you were actually deluding yourself in doing one of the most reverse engineered ways of not actually caring for self. You can never truly heal and bring to peace internal wounds with nothing but external activities, right? It is a two-way street, and that street begins in here, internally, inside, dealing with the thought process, the narrative, the meanings, the conclusions you come to from going through painful situations and deciding what you want these things to mean to you, right? How you want to perceive it, how you're going to identify or not identify with whatever the outcome was, giving yourself a more optimistic and more serving narrative to walk forward with instead of running from even addressing it altogether. And from there, you take the narratives that will serve you towards your healing and more clarity on what you need to do to heal properly. Then you bring it to the external world. Because if you do it that way, then now the ball game changes. You're not just running to the gym all the time. You're not just always going to your friends. You're not just always going to double down on work. No, you'll spend more intentional time, although you'll still do those things. You'll still carve out time to just sit with your feelings, maybe go on a walk, maybe nature by yourself, somewhere where you're still doing something active. It's still an external activity, but it has a lot of internal properties because while you're in this space, you're self-reflecting. You're giving yourself affirmations that you truly believe in. I'd always say this. I don't believe in just, generic affirmations that you can just give anyone and they can say it. It has to be unique to you because you really identify with it. You really believe in it. So it really can be real for you. Right. But if you spent more intentional time with that in actually offering yourself the space to tap into self, to where you're not looking out here as much, you're looking more in here. Even if you're doing an external thing, you're looking in here while you're doing it. See, whenever you're doing all the work, or you're with all the friends in the family, or you're in that gym, everything you're focused on is what's in front of you, right? The tangible experience that the outside world is bringing to you that you're focusing on, versus you using the outside world to help you focus on what's going on inside of you in a healthier manner. And I will be the first to say to you, it is not easy just getting past a painful breakup. It's not. I had to realize the same things for myself, right? When I went through mine, the multiple ones I went through, right? It was not fun, but I kept repeating my cycle until I stopped running from my healing the right way, right? Or let me be fair here as well. Some of it wasn't me intentionally trying to run, because I've never been a runner. I like walking through my problems because I don't like them to carry with me, right? My thing was, like a lot of people, I wasn't aware that I wasn't healing the proper way. I thought I was doing what you're supposed to do, right? Strap your bootstraps up, dust yourself off and keep moving forward. Don't let that stop you, right? Which is true in some sense. But when you apply that too literally, you never actually stop to say, hey, I see you. Little Los, right? I see you. I see that you're hurting. I'm here for you right now. Let's stop just being busy, and let me just stop and focus on you for a minute. Let me just be here with you because you need me right now. That's the piece I was missing. With me getting back to getting productive, and especially as a masculine man, right? Masculine energy is about productivity, about challenge, about building. So it's natural for us as men to lean into getting really active towards progress whenever we go through things. And so for a while, I thought it worked really great when I was doing that back then, until it wasn't. Until I wound up in another relationship dynamic where I'm with the wrong person, turns out, right? Relationship didn't work and things crash and burn for faults on both sides, right? It's always two people to tango, right? Things I didn't know, wasn't aware of. I wasn't showing up a certain way, whatever. And the way they didn't show up, all the things, because you attract what you're in harmony with. And I still hadn't gotten it yet, until I finally stopped running from fully processing and dealing with my feelings and my emotions, while I'm also still moving it forward in life, and not letting that whole breakup or that situation debilitate me and stop me completely until I got over it, right? So it's a multifaceted, parallel thing. You have to heal and deal with the internal actively, proactively, while you're actively dealing with your external world. And they come together for you to actually truly heal. So I can't stress it enough. If you are really going through that tough breakup space right now, and that's where you're at, right? Please don't do yourself the disservice of getting hyper focused on, getting your body right and the work and all the things, everything, to where you leave yourself no time and no room, no space to actually just be present with yourself and deal and process. Yes, painful emotions don't feel good. It never will. But they're there to help give you information. They're not there to actually make you suffer. You only suffer if you only stew in the pain and you don't try to face it and understand it, so you know what to do with it or about it, right? But the more you spend time trying to avoid it, is the longer you will actually suffer, to where you start creating your own suffering, right? And you're human, you're organic. The yin yang of love is the feeling of loss if it's not there. Otherwise, it's not as valuable. So don't start looking at the pain as just symbol of what you've lost. Look at what it represented you had, or at least felt like you did, or what you got to experience, and lean into whatever understanding it's trying to get you to receive, to be able to release and let go of it, so you can move on in a healthy way with a clean slate instead of carrying baggage. So don't get so overly consumed with the external activities, and even stuff like, the fastest way you get over one person is to get up under another, that kind of stuff. Just all things that are distractions to try to help you feel something or not feel something that takes you away from actually leading into exactly what you need to let breathe in you, which is sometimes the uncomfortable and painful things. Because if you actually do stop and sit and focus on not so much all the pain, all the things that happen with your ex and all the narratives and all that stuff, and you get more focused on, okay, what you're really concerned about when it comes to that pain you're trying to avoid, you'll come to realize it's not so much the pain that you can't face, you can't bear, to all the narratives. It's really the fear that you don't have an answer or a solution for how to make it stop. It's really the concern that you don't know what to do and it's going to debilitate you or you won't be able to function or move forward. That's the real fear. It's because you don't have a solution to your problem, right? One of the best things I heard, not so long ago was, problems are really unanswered questions. You don't know what to do. I don't know what the thing is. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, right? You could do so in the comments if you like. If you actually had a certified, clear, no question formula that you knew would work, if as long as you stuck to it and applied it to heal from whatever painful breakup you're going through right now, whatever those emotions that are really hard and weighing on you, if you knew, if I followed this process, I'm going to heal. It may take some time, but I'm going to get there. Tell me you wouldn't be a lot more interested in executing that instead of running. Not saying you're going to be jumping for joy to go through the pain because it's still going to be a difficult road. But if you knew there was the other side and you had the actual plan to get there, tell me you wouldn't take that option versus just leaning into all these other things to where those wounds never actually get addressed. If you would say yes to that, then I highly advise you to stop and start to focus on dealing with those and processing those emotions at your own pace. You don't have to go and torture yourself. Now, I was a nut with it, right? I'm stubborn in that way, right? When I went through my most painful moments, I binged on trying to heal and focusing on trying to work through the pain, right? But you don't have to do that. Maybe you just carve out 5 to 10 minutes every other day, maybe once in the evening, maybe at the very least once a week, to where you really lend yourself to those emotions and processing and so forth, and come up with one action step you can do to nurture whatever you feel you need as a result of what you're discovering or reflecting on, the clarity you're coming to, right? And do it at the rate that you need to do it in. Whenever you're out about in your day, find a few minutes to stop and nurse yourself. Maybe you need to step away to the restroom somewhere just to check in, tap in, and see what you need in that moment so that you actually are slowly healing while you're still living your life. Whatever the case, don't turn away from what's asking for the most help from you right now, which is your internal world. If you need help learning how to build that skill set, that tool, and find the clarity to get through your painful breakup so you actually can heal the proper way to not sabotage the future relationship you might be able to have and the life you want to live, then email or DM me the word coaching as long as you're truly ready to put the work in. If you're not ready for one-on-one coaching, don't have the time or the space, I get it. At least email or DM me the word revival to join my Relationship Revival Hub community, where you can learn the same things I teach my clients one-on-one at your own pace, on your own time. Either way, do something to get in the race. Let's get it.